The result, thousands of cases of asbestos-induced mesothelioma and lung cancer. During the past 4 decades, $18 billion has been awarded to individuals with qualifying injuries. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed in the last 4 years with asbestos-related lung cancer or mesothelioma, call today.
Call 800-848-0074.
WOTM, your TV home for high school sports in Alabama. This Thursday on WOTM, catch the AHSAA High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Ox Foundations. This week's matchup will feature the Thorsby Rebels versus the Fayetteville Wolves. Stay with WOTM through the postseason for live games all 4 weeks of the playoffs. WOTM, the home of AHSAA Super 7, live from Jordan-Hare.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Hondas are the best vehicles on the road, so why not get the state's best prices and incentives? Lynn Gannum and Freeway Honda deliver, and it's always worth the drive. Tell them, Lynn.
We have the best deals. We have statewide specials. That's right. Pick out your car choice, send us a message. We'll prepare the deal, and we'll bring it to your residence. Do not worry. We are #1 with deliveries in the state of Alabama. We will handle the paperwork and everything.
Shop Freeway Honda, I-20 West in Birmingham, or freewayhondaal.com for the state's best prices on new Hondas.
We're back, Scotty. I want to thank Ryan for coming over and cleaning us up out here, as we had a few technical difficulties this morning, but we want to thank all of you that continue to tune into our programming throughout the week. Our Auburn Blitz programming from 12 to 1, weekdays Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 on Tuesday night, Sports Blitz Live, and Saturday Sports Countdown from 7 to 9 on Saturday morning. Can't thank Reed and Ryan enough. It is what it is. I've been doing this a long, long time. Remember
this is the calmest I've ever seen you in
Scott, when you have been doing it for 15 years, putting programs on, I'll never forget, we sat right over here and did our first Sports Blitz year. And program number 2 that we went on statewide froze on Brett Pritchard's face about 10 minutes into the program, and the TV station didn't get it fixed for 2 days. So if you scroll by, you could be in Birmingham, Alabama. You scroll by Channel 6, there's Brett Pritchard just frozen right there on the screen. We used to not take it as well back then. Now I just expect it. It's like, well, I need something. Audio's not working? Yeah, okay. Is what it is. Or, Scott, do you remember the first time, I know that we're rolling around, you remember the first time we went down to the field to you at Briarwood that night?
I do remember. No, the whole thing was, it was a pre-record. It was a taped segment before what we were going to do for the game, to go over that. So there was no pressure, really. It was just like, hey, what are your thoughts on the game? And it was a
and you just totally clammed up. And so when I see you up there speaking now in public, I'm proud of you, because I've seen you at your worst. I've seen you when those nerves would hit you really good. And let's move into college football, though. We missed a couple of segments, so we need to catch up right here. We're going to start with Auburn. We'll catch up with Luke Robinson and talk some Alabama coming up. Down at the Swamp today, I've said it all week, this game on the road concerns me for 2 reasons. Atmosphere is one, but not knowing what you're going to get from Florida right now is a little bit concerning. 10-plus wins last year. Beat LSU like they stole something. One of those programs that one week can look like they did against Miami to start the season. Next week you go, golly, where did this quarterback come from? And why? And a lot of other people want him. Great coaches can do that. You know, Tommy Tuberville used to do that for Auburn. We'd play like a dog one week, and then we'd go down to the Swamp with Brandon Cox and that crew, and Wes Byram would kick a field goal and we'd win. And you go, how in the world we go beat them? You sense that a little bit from Dan Mullen right now.
Yeah, my temperament towards Dan Mullen has slowly eased more toward I think he's a better coach than what I thought he was. Initially, I thought he was just an offensive guy. I was like, he's a quarterback's coach is what I thought he was. But I think he's a really good leader of kids. And Dak Prescott speaks very highly of him, and that gives me all the indication I need to know from that end because of a great leader he is. But having said that, to me, I think that this is a Florida team that is really getting by more so on name recognition than actual – like, I don't think they're not a bad team. They're a top 10 team just based on what everybody else has done. But I think that Auburn, truthfully, they're a 2.5-point favorite. This is a game that Auburn should win by 2 scores, 27-17, something like that. I don't think there are a lot of teams outside. There's 3 teams in the conference that can score with Auburn or score and beat Auburn, which would be LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Florida, I don't think, can get even to 20. And our team would have to get to 20-plus to beat Auburn.
Here's the key to the football game for me. How does this Florida defense match up with Auburn's running game? When you look at the stat totals so far on the season, this is a very impressive Florida defense. I'm going to run down some of their stats. They're 17th in the country overall, giving up 281.2 yards per game. That's 17th in the country, as I just mentioned, and 3rd in the SEC. Here's the key number right here, though, Scott, and I'll get your thoughts on this. 86.8 rushing yards per game given up by Florida on the season. That's 16th in the country, 2nd overall in the SEC. I like what I saw in Bo Nix last week, but I also know what I know about Gus Malzahn, and we struggle when we can't run the football. How does our offensive line and our running backs and our quarterback, who both seem to be mobile, we got 60 yards rushing out of Bo Nix last week. Boy, that was a breath of fresh air, wasn't it? And he looks fast against SEC players at times out there on the field. And what do we get if we bring Joey Gatewood in packages? So 86 yards rushing per game, that number is impressive for Florida right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned Gatewood, and I would think that he may get a couple series this game. I think he'll have a couple series where he starts to drive. But I think Florida's defense really is its best when they're moving lateral, and so that would be kind of something that would disrupt what we do offensively, at least with Boob. I think this could be one of those games where you really do see him get 18 to 20 carries, and they're in between the tackles. And then, so that's how you'll have to attack this Florida team is between the tackles. I know that rushing number doesn't indicate that, but they're at their best when they're swarming and preventing you from getting – when they have containment. And so for me, I say Auburn should be able to get 150 yards rushing out of their backs today.
And that's the number that you're hoping for.
Yeah, we can get 150.
How impressed were you with Bo Nix's mobility in comparison to what you thought coming into the season?
I always thought he was a great athlete. I still don't think he's that great of a runner, but he's a gamer. He just makes plays.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. So I think he's going to do whatever is required to win the game. So if you need him to run for 60 yards, then he can run for 60 yards, or if he needs to throw for 245, he can do that as well. So I think whatever the game plan is. So his numbers sometimes look kind of pedestrian, but he does the right things at the right time to win the game.
He got a lot of the same characteristics his father had, didn't he?
And I've been trying to go back and look at some old tape of Patrick Nix, and I can remember him being like Terry Bowden was when I kind of came along, the Patrick Nix, Stephen Davis time period. That was my Auburn, but I can't remember how good of a quarterback he actually was. I can remember the '94 game and all, but I don't know, was he a good quarterback in terms of like passing?
Yes, I think it's in terms of passing he was.
Better than Stan White? Like that's
about equal.
Okay.
You know, Stan had great arm talent too, in my opinion. Stan would turn the football over a little bit more than I thought that Pat Nix would. I don't know that stats weigh me out for saying that, but Pat also had some better offensive units overall than Stan had to work with. I think Stan in a great offensive unit would have put up outstanding numbers at Auburn. So that is no knock on him at all. I was a big fan of Stan White and still am. I think he does a tremendous job doing color for Auburn. But Pat Nix, you know, he was a gamer. I've watched that '94 play a dozen times this week. Love listening to Jim Fife make that call. One of Fife's best calls ever, in my opinion. And one of the best wins of my lifetime for Auburn because it was so unexpected. 93 and 94. 93, the most unexpected win in my lifetime. I don't know how in the world we pulled that one off. But 94, too. And going down to the Swamp, and he just had a way that he carried himself in certain game situations that you go, Pat Nick's going to get us down the field. He's going to get us down the field, and he's going to find Frank Sanders, and Sanders is going to make a play for him. And, that nice little couple of steps back to elude pressure that's right in his face, throwing it off his back foot, 2 defenders, 1 safety over here and another defender that's in short coverage, and he puts it at the perfect spot for an athlete like Frank Sanders to go up there and get it in a hostile environment against a team that just beat our brains in the whole decade. Look back at the 90s. Other than 93 and 94, Steve Spurrier beat our brains in at Auburn. I told Andy this week, I said, I think we're going to leave this stretch of Nick Saban saying a lot about what we said during that stretch as Auburn fans against Florida.
Get him out.
Get him out because when you look back at the scores, you go, you know what, we beat them, and we beat them maybe more than anybody else did, which is only 2 or 3 times in a 10-year stretch, and we had to win by a field goal or a close football game. But, boy, when they beat us like we stole something. And that's a little bit of what I felt like during that era right here. I don't sense that right now with Florida.
Yeah,
I don't
that's what I'm
sense
saying
that
with
the
name.
recruiting's
Yeah.
to that level. Do you?
That's what I mean. I think Florida carries a certain weight because it's Florida, but the program, they've gone, but a lot of their success, even when Muschamp was there, when they went to the SEC Championship and McKinley, that was because the East was as bad as it has been. So, how good really was Florida? It wasn't the same dominance. And when you're the next best team, really, Georgia wasn't. It was Georgia. So that was really your only competitor for an 8-year period was Georgia. But with Auburn, I want to ask you this. You mentioned Sanders, and then you look at teams like when you had Sammy Coates and even Darvin Adams. Gus is often, not but just saying this, but Auburn in general, but specifically with Gus, Auburn's at its best when they have that one guy, like one true guy. Do you think Seth Williams is a Darvin, even like on a Darvin Adams level, when you need the play to get it done, that's who we're going to go to get the play?
I hope so, because I think his skill set is that. And we have not had a 1,000-yard receiver at Auburn since Ronnie Daniels, and that's quite some time ago. And it was in '99, the last time, by the way, that we went to LSU and won 41-7, and he just torched them the entire afternoon there. So, I think it would be nice to have a 1,200 to 1,400-yard receiver in Seth Williams. And if you have a few more 160-yard games like he did last week, then you could see those type of numbers. But I think he's got good parts around him, and good parts around him that can get deep down the field that make you match up man with him more than you really want. If you don't have a good defensive scheme for Anthony Schwartz, he's going to kill you because he's going to get behind you. Same for Will Hastings. You don't have a good scheme for him in the middle of the field, he'll get behind you. And Sal Cannella is becoming a really good piece for Auburn because of his height. And it looks like Bo Nix likes him on that little wheel route. It looks like he gives him some good opportunities out there. But I'll answer it. I know we're up against a break. I'll answer it like this. When I watch the other receivers, like Sal Cannella, talk in interviews about Seth Williams, they rave about him. They rave about his athleticism. They rave about his potential. I go a lot more on what those guys are saying than what you and I up here as water cooler talkers, talking heads, that aren't around practice and aren't around the program. When those guys say that you got something special, I believe them. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter, like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Lake Martin Heating and Air Conditioning, 256-307-4137.
Hello, my name is Dave Milton with Southeastern Land Group. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company. We sell farmland and timberland in Alabama and the surrounding states. Not only do we have a land sales division, but we also have a timber sales division where we can help you with your timber sales and your timber appraisals. There's 22 of us in our group scattered throughout the southeastern United States. We are a full-service land and timber sales company. We do with farmland, timberland, cattle property, poultry farms. 866-751-LAND. Go to the website, selandgroup.com.
Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance, for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com. You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman, General Manager of Vaden Toyota. We'd like to announce our new lifetime warranty on any new Toyota.
Hashtag lifetime warranty.
Hashtag we love our customers.
It can be used nationwide at no additional cost.
Hashtag customer service.
So come on by and let us show you
the Vaden way.
Hashtag maintenance matters.
Hashtag totally awesome.
Vaden Toyota of Sylacauga, just a short drive from home or online.
Hashtag your neighborhood dealership.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, Main Street Family Care. Our segment sponsor here, 256-234-6221. Got about 30 more minutes left in today's program. Thanks for tuning in throughout the state of Alabama. Thanks to Ryan Fuller, Reed Slayton for getting us straightened out on our technical issues this morning. Charter Channel 21 for a majority of the state, 187, 190. 187, I think, in Auburn, Opelika area, 190 up in Huntsville, and Charter Channel 3 here in the Lake Martin region. Scott, we were talking about Auburn. Let's get one more segment in on Auburn, then let's move over to the national scene and hopefully catch up with Luke Robinson for a segment for Alabama. Big game, number 9 against number 7. Great opportunity for Auburn. Feel like we got our sea legs under us offensively a little bit last week. How much do you put that on a healthy Anthony Schwartz back out there and the dynamic he brings to this offensive unit?
It's a counter, 100%. This is kind of a counter or a compound to the statement I made about having the top-tier receiver. That's good for him. The other thing that when this offense was great is when you had an Ontario McKinley, somebody like that who could handle a lot of your lateral, your east-west running, and then that allows
Corey Grant.
Yeah, Corey Grant. So anybody like that was able to do those types, that's when this offense, because he likes to get creative, and a lot of what he does is based on motion. And so even if somebody's not involved in the game plan or even involved in the play, you have to take account for him. So Schwartz definitely adds to it, and I mean, I'd love to see the ideal thing you look at and say Hastings probably, but Schwartz would be a phenomenal Patriots wide receiver. Like that, he would fit the mold for that because now that's really what you're going more to. You get your number one, but you get you a Tyreek Hill, a Jarvis Landry, somebody like that. That slot receivers are becoming more and more valuable on the next level.
Yeah, and speed.
And
just speed. You just can't make up for the speed that you get with Anthony Schwartz out there. I think he has 4 touchdowns in the last couple of weeks, and each time that he's touched the football, he's averaged 22 yards per touch. He just is dynamic when the ball is in his hands, and he makes a difference out there, and I can't say enough. Gus Malzahn, his overall demeanor, you read much into that? Does it seem a lot different to you? Because it does to me.
I think he's as confident going into a season than he's been in a while, but now that we've kind of, we're a quarter way through the year, I don't know. It just felt like I can't remember if I ever said it on the show or not, but I said if Auburn were to start the season 5-0, I thought the most important game was Oregon. I said, but if Auburn starts 5-0, it's going to be it's going to be one of those Auburn seasons, is what I said. And I said, now that could mean we end up falling out and we lose to Florida, LSU, Georgia, Alabama, we're 6-6, or it turns into one of those Auburn seasons. So that's kind of where we are as a program. So those games, the 5 games we won, don't really mean anything to me. This Florida, LSU stretch that we have going on from October to November. And with that demeanor, I think the confidence level comes with his job is safer than it was maybe a month ago.
I agree with that. Defensive side of the ball is where I just keep tipping my hat to Gus Malzahn. This was a putrid defense. Andy and I went through the stats first half of the week on the defense that Gus Malzahn had when he was a coordinator. I don't know if you remember, but in 2013 we played for a national championship and we finished 87th overall in the country in total defense. Since Kevin Steele has been there, we've been no less than 40. 40's the worst. We've been in the 30s, if not lower, on total defense each year that Kevin Steele's been there. And Gus Malzahn's the one that hired Kevin Steele. So you have to tip your hat. He's the one that brought Travis Williams and Rodney Gardner in. And I think that those two guys and Kevin Steele have changed the demeanor overall defensively. KJ Britt talking. First off, you can't get that guy to talk enough for me. Keep putting the camera in front of him. He's a guy I want speaking for us. But Auburn right now, 6th overall in defense in the SEC, which is 33rd in the country. We're number 20 against the rush here in the country, 3rd overall in the SEC, only giving up 95 yards rushing per game. This is not a great running attack from Florida coming in today. They're 11th in the conference. Their 141 yards rushing is 88th overall. That matchup right there favors Auburn big time. Our defense against the run compared to them trying to run the football.
Yeah, and I just think that there's no team, again, outside of, your couple teams, but it's going to be very difficult for a team to try to go between the tackles and say, all right, I'm going to run on these 3 defensive linemen that I see sitting right here. That's not going to happen. So I think that because of that, it takes less pressure off of our secondary, and kind of forces teams to have to pass, and this isn't a team that I'm that nervous about throwing the football. Florida just doesn't – this doesn't seem like a game where it'll be close because it will be, but on paper, Auburn should beat them by 10, 14 points.
They just don't have the dudes that we've seen out at receiver. You agree with that?
That's what they're Florida because they have the F on the helmet, but that's not the Florida, that's not Urban Meyer's Florida. That what really got it to national prominence. Not to say that Steve Spurrier didn't, but from a high school kid's perspective, seeing those types of kids with your Percy Harvins and even your Aaron Hernandez, those types of guys were what I'm accustomed to when I think about a Florida receiver.
Stats so far on the season for Auburn: Bo Nix, 57% completion percentage, 980 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 INTs on the season. Here's a big stat for Bo Nix that I think is a big-time positive, 173 yards rushing for Bo Nix. He stays on this pace, he may end up with 500 yards rushing on the season, and that's a huge stat. Joey Gatewood has run the football well when he's had opportunities, 122 yards rushing. So between those two quarterbacks, 300 yards rushing on the season. Scott, that helps. That's a big help when it comes to this Gus Malzahn offense.
Yeah, and just having the threat. See, that's what the separation is between, let's say, he and a Sean White, is there was really no threat to run with Sean White. So the RPO doesn't work if there's not an option to it. So they can load the box and make you do whatever they want you to do. With Bo Nix being back there, you can call, those are sometimes called, and then he can see it and say, you know what, he's been tipping every time down, so now I can keep. I mean, there's just like going back, he's a gamer, and I think he understands this system better than Gus has had anyone ever either. And I think that is playing a lot in terms of his trust and how expansive the playbook has been.
It will be fun to watch today Cadillac's rotation of running backs in the first half, because I think that Cadillac has done a really good job of having Coach Malzahn's ear and changing up things that we have all complained about for years and years, and that's just running one guy into the ground. We're not doing that this year. We got a number of guys that are touching the football, and last week against Mississippi State, we saw a lot more of the running backs other than Whitlow in the first half, and then once the second half came in, we had a energized Whitlow to give the football to kind of end the game up. But so far on the season, 463 yards rushing on 92 carries, 5 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns for Boobie Whitlow. 29 carries for 145 for Cam Martin and 2 touchdowns, 27 carries and 144 yards for Sean Shivers. We saw Williams for the first time last week. He looks like a little bit of a bowling ball back there. We'll see if we see more of DJ Williams, but just so far, your thoughts on Cadillac Williams and the job that he's done?
No, I love it. And, it makes sense. Give your bell cow, you want your bell cow at his healthiest and at his less tired period of the game going into the second half. And so you look at the breakdown of the carries, it's basically a 3-to-1 split. And that's pretty much what you would like from your top back comparative to your second and third tier running backs. They're not say tier, but on the depth chart. So from a running back's perspective, he understands that. He knows what it was like to say, you know what, maybe I don't have to have 15 carries in this first half. Get me enough to get us going, but in the second half, let's lean on them and I'm ready to go.
Cadillac doing a great job with that. We're up against another break. Hopefully catch up with Luke Robinson on this upcoming segment, talk about Alabama football and anything else you'd like to talk about. 256-234-6221, more of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Scotty Fortenberry is Dadeville and the Lake Martin area's full-service Alpha agent. His office on Broadneck Street offers comprehensive life, home, auto, and boat insurance at Alpha's competitive rates. Scotty and Alpha Insurance are Alabama's #1 life insurance company for a reason. You'll always get the personal attention you and your family need. Scotty also has your commercial needs covered, so whether it's just a quote or full insurance evaluation, call Alpha agent Scotty Fortenberry at 256-825-9211.
WOTM, your TV home for high school sports in Alabama. This Thursday on WOTM, catch the AHSAA High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Ox Foundations. This week's matchup will feature the Thorsby Rebels versus the Fayetteville Wolves. Stay with WOTM through the postseason for live games all 4 weeks of the playoffs. WOTM, the home of AHSAA Super 7, live from Jordan Hare.
Harbor Point Ship Store has everything to make your day on the lake more enjoyable. Come on out to the biggest marina on the water. They have pizza, hot dogs, burgers, and more. Get your gas, groceries, snacks, ice, and everything you need for a fun day on the lake. Are you in the market for a new or pre-owned boat? Harbor Point has the best selection around of everyone's favorite Crest pontoons and Four Winds boats. Harbor Point also has a great selection of pre-owned boats. Come on out and take a look at Harbor Point, Marina Point Road in Dadeville. Get to the point.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
Guys, it's back! Inline skating.
Rock and roll hair?
Calling this thing a pound sign instead of a hashtag? No, the sensation is back at Zaxby's.
The Zensation Salad is back, and introducing the new Zensation Filet Sandwich Meal with hand-breaded chicken, Asian slaw, wonton strips, and citrus vinaigrette, both served with an egg roll. The Zensation Salad and Filet Sandwich Meal, only at Zaxby's.
The door's open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Watts on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Watts on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Games around the country today, Scott. Let's run those down. 256-234-6221. If you have comments from high school football last night, moving into college in this segment, we'll talk about whatever you want to if you want to call in or comment on our Facebook outlet out there. Central Florida lost to Cincinnati last night. I don't guess we have to hear that anymore, do we?
Oh, yeah. That's I'm glad. Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
They got what they deserved.
Good for them.
And we'll move into today, and this is a huge game on the national scene. I don't think anybody down here cares, but we are college football fans, and we know what this means for this program. Iowa taking on Michigan. This is big for Jim Harbaugh. If Harbaugh doesn't get things turned quickly, they may not jump off ship, but the writing's going to be on the wall that he's not going to get it done. Your thoughts on this game as Iowa's number 14 in the country and undefeated, taking on a 3-1 Michigan squad?
Well, before the year started, I said that there would not be an SEC team in the playoffs. Clearly, I'm going to look pretty terrible there. And one of the teams I had in the Final Four was Michigan. So I just thought, I said at some point, like the laws of logic would say, hey, they got to get it right, and they can't win it's not even like they're losing to big teams, like they're just losing to just anybody or not even playing one against anybody. You look at Army, you just look. I mean, these are games anyway,
that you have to pass the eye test to get over the hump, and they don't.
Is it him? Like, is he not a good coach? Because I really thought that Harbaugh was one of the top 3 or 4 NFL coaches when he was in the league.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
I don't know if it's talent. I think it's a bit him, though. I think it's stubbornness. They look out of sorts a lot of times on the offensive side of the ball. It's almost like they want to have an identity, but they don't. And it's okay if you're going to line up and do what Alabama and LSU did for quite some time and just do the little short toss back and good luck, Derrick Henry's about to hit you in your jaw. If that's what your identity is, and I think that Michigan and Harbaugh wants to be that, but they're not. Because they don't match up and they don't slap anybody in the mouth right now. Wisconsin does.
Yeah, and see, that's when Wisconsin hasn't changed in 20 years. They go get a Ron Dane, a Melvin Gordon, a whoever else they get back there, and they go get you 1,500 yards back, and they just go pound it on you.
This was a crazy tweet that I saw last week, and I think it's worth talking about. Here are 4- and 5-star athlete numbers for the top 10 in the country. I hope you didn't see this. Alabama's number 1 in the country. They've got 68 4 or 5 stars on their squad.
Out of 85?
Out of 85.
Okay.
68. Ohio State's number 2. They've got 61 on their squad. Auburn, right there in the middle. I mean, it wasn't ranked. It was just showing, here's the top 10. Here's a graphic. Here's 4 and 5 star players on the team. Auburn has 46 4 or 5 star recruits on their squad. Florida, 39. So we're talking about a difference between Florida and Alabama of almost half. 50-something for Georgia. Georgia was right below Ohio State. They were 3rd overall. Notre Dame had in the 40s. I think
I'm shocked on that.
Notre Dame, I think, had 48. Wisconsin, how many 4 and 5 stars you think?
22.
9.
9.
Wisconsin has 9 4 or 5 stars on their squad, and they beat Michigan unmercifully. And would you want to play Wisconsin right now? I wouldn't either.
So if you do something so it goes back to your point, if that's your identity, you do it well, then you can recruit to that. You don't necessarily have to have that, which is what I always have said about Gus's offense to that point.
Yes.
I don't think you have to get a 5-star kid back there.
No.
Somebody who can run your offense. So you look at Nick Marshall, for example, he was just a pure athlete, but you were able to do it. He had a 58% completion percentage the year they won a state championship, or the year we went to the national championship. Bo Nix sitting at the same thing, 57.6. So they're making plays. That's what you need in that offense, somebody who can make plays.
So my answer to you on Jim Harbaugh is I don't know who they are, nor do I know who he wants them to be. I know who Wisconsin is, and I know exactly who he wants them to be. And they've been that for umpteen years, and they'll always be that. And they don't have to go out there and compete necessarily with Alabama on a year-in and year-out basis and still put a quality product out there on the field. They're not going to beat Alabama. I'm not saying that for Wisconsin. I don't believe that. But when you only have 9 compared to 68, they'd play well with Alabama. I do think that they have a good enough program to do that. Michigan, I don't know who they are. And until Harbaugh decides, it's a lot like what Brett Bielema did at Arkansas. I thought he'd take that Wisconsin product, go over to Arkansas, finish 45th in the country in recruiting, but get a bunch of hogs with a 5-star running back, flip it back there to him, line up, say good luck. I'm about to run it right down your throat and make you love it. No, he went over there and he said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually start slinging it all over the park. And now he's some kind of consultant for someone. Yeah. That's the same feel I have for Michigan right now, is you had an identity, but now you don't. And now you're looking all over the map. It's kind of like when Tony Franklin came in for Tommy Tuberville. He wanted to change it up. Felt like we needed to be more explosive. Find a way to compete with Nick Saban and what he was going to do at Alabama. It didn't work. It wasn't who we were. Heck, he doesn't even last halfway through the season before we have to get rid of that idea. So I don't know. That was a tough spill. So big game there, Iowa at number 19, Michigan today. TCU at Iowa State. We won't talk much about that one. Vandy at Ole Miss, not worth talking about that one. Here's one that I do think will be interesting. Tennessee will send a true freshman out at quarterback to start for the first time as they host Georgia. There are train wrecks, and then there are Tennessee. This could be an obliteration of epic proportions to end this season. And does he make it to the end of the season, Scott?
All right. There's 2 ways you could look at that. It really could just be like on paper, you're looking at it and say, this just didn't go in well today. Part of me thinks Tennessee's going to give Georgia, because it's off of a bye week.
Okay.
They're going to get beat, but I don't think it's going to be 63-6.
If it's 63-6, do they go ahead and just end this nightmare?
Yeah, they go have to give them.
Because Alabama's going to beat them 63-6.
Yeah, so that's when it's coming inevitably.
The end of the nightmare is coming. It just depends on when they choose to do it.
Would you rather be Tennessee, and it's just a lot of things as to why you aren't that good right now, or Michigan, where you look at who's in worse shape?
We'll talk about that on the other side. We'll have our final segment on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown coming up shortly.
Hey, it's Steve from the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, and after 10 years of serving the good people of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're still doing business the same way, offering the best products at the best prices with the area's best warranties and installing them with the area's best technicians. With great customer service, a knowledgeable sales staff, and our commitment to customer satisfaction, along with the best selection of the latest technology in the industry, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Shop with confidence. Shop at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Hey, you mind if I borrowed this for a sec? I just gotta look something up.
Sure.
Conjunctivitis. That's what I got. You know, pink eye, I just couldn't think of the real name for it. Thanks, man.
When you want quick quality care, come to Russell Medical Urgent Care. We're open 7 days a week and conveniently located behind the Cancer Center on the hospital campus. Russell Medical Urgent Care. When it's not an emergency, but it's urgent.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Into the program here. Got a couple of more minutes, Scott. Just kick it over to you. Your thoughts. Alabama, we haven't talked a lot about them. Tua, he's putting up Tecmo Bowl numbers, isn't he? He's special. You better appreciate what you got when you got it. And we're about to come down the stretch and hear so many Jalen and Tua stories. I don't know if we're all going to be able to stomach it, but what Jalen Hurts is doing at Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley, what he's doing with Jalen Hurts. I don't know if there's a word that I can use to explain how impressive it is.
I think Lincoln Riley deserves all of the credit. Not all, in terms of getting that program to the point to where, from an offensive standpoint, it's going to be plug and play going forward.
True.
Now, it helps that you have a great athlete back there or a quarterback back there, but they want to come play in that system, so that's a credit to him. Having said that, I can't wait for anything more than Oklahoma, Alabama.
Yeah.
I want that to be the semifinal game, so that's to make sure that we get it to happen, or however it has to pan out to make sure that they either see each other in the championship or however that pans out. Anyway, that would be the best story of the decade for me. But having said that with Tua, it's hard to say anything without it being sounding critical, but that receiving core is unbelievably talented to the point that no college team is going to be able to stay on the field with them. There's not a secondary that can stay with them. So when 72% of your passing yards come yards after catch, that gives credence to what you have as a receiving core, but he's a phenomenal quarterback and throw the deep ball. The Dolphins are doing what
Timing's
they're doing.
really good.
Yeah, I think
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's something to be said about having good, speedy receivers that can run away from people, and I think Alabama's got one of the best receiving cores we've ever seen in college football. But putting them in a position to catch the football in stride and use that Henry Ruggs and Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy to give them an opportunity to use their speed, it's impressive. There's nothing else you can say about it. And this run for Nick Saban's, it's unprecedented, in my view.
Yeah.
When they lose, it's a shock.
And how disappointing is that? As the other side, and so somebody had a tweet or something I found it was saying about, there are 125 programs that would love to have Auburn's record over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Except one of those is their biggest rival, or one of those that isn't is their biggest rival.
That's
right.
right.
And that's the issue. In reality, Auburn actually put together a pretty decent stretch for what successful standards are. But what they have eclipsed, Alabama's eclipsed what everybody's expectation of a program is now, which is why people continue to get fired on a year-to-year basis.
It's a good point, and you just have to tip your hat to Nick Saban. Prediction for today as we close the show.
Bo Nix and the Auburn Tigers have an early first half lead, 13-10 at the half, finish things out 27-17 to get the win today.
I'm going to go back to 2006 some odd, whatever year that was, and I'm going to say Auburn's going to have to win this thing with a field goal, and we'll win it, though, nonetheless. And it's going to be a low-scoring game, something like 20-17. Brad back there has got us 34-17, so we got 3 Auburn wins. I don't know if you like that kind. Most Auburn fans would like to see Lee Corso put that Gator Chomp on today during game day, but that's coming up next. For Scott Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Attention! Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Task Force, reporting for duty, sir. Okay, people, it's time to get serious. Serious savings on our entire inventory. Earl, what do we got?
Big savings, Sergeant. Save up to $15,000 off during the summer clearance event.
Excellent.
No payments till 2020. And credit amnesty.
Bring home $350 a week, you get up to $30,000 in credit. Outstanding!
All roads lead to Opelika. Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just 25 minutes from Columbus. Call 800-NEXT-RIDE or Opelika Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.com.
Hello, my name is Dave Milton with Southeastern Land Group. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company. We sell farmland and timberland in Alabama and the surrounding states. Not only do we have a land sales division, but we also have a timber sales division where we can help you with your timber sales and your timber appraisals. There's 22 of us in our group scattered throughout the southeastern United States. We are a full-service land and timber sales company. We do with farmland, timberland, cattle property, poultry farms. 866-751-LAND. Go to the website, selandgroup.com.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Auburn Opelika has that perfect something for you. From sophisticated chic boutiques to exceptional dining, there's a retailer or restaurant to make your next visit special. Whether it's elegant fine dining or freshly squeezed lemonade, you'll find the perfect fit for every taste and budget. The food's great and the shopping is too, so be sure to check out the wide array of gifts, decor, clothing, and more. For every occasion, Auburn Opelika has what you're looking for. Let's make your next trip memorable. Visit Auburn Opelika.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.